Greetings. This is Campson. I am the founder of New Verse Live, and I am going to be sharing with you the message for the full moon, June 3rd, 2023, which is a Sagittarius full moon according to Western astrology. This full moon is definitely a major transition. I don't feel like this is one of those collective coming together unity kind of thing. It feels more like having unity within yourself, being less focused on people, places, and things outside of you, going within, finding places inside of you that you never experienced before, finding places within your imagination, that you can use for your life. So I'm going to pull a card because this energy is definitely demanding us to be in integrity. And being in integrity can be difficult, especially if you were not raised being validated by others in your authentic self. Maybe you were afraid to be your authentic self for whatever reason. A lot of us got bullied and went through things, and we learned how to hide. This full moon is like binoculars, where the parts of us that's been hidden, tucked away in a compartment way back in the back of our subconscious mind, it's fully visible, just like this full moon. I'm talking about straight up seeing yourself, seeing how your wounds are obviously still tender, still requiring your attention. And for those of us who are actively working on healing trauma, you want to make sure that you aren't using trauma as a subconscious filter to perceive the people in your life and the situations in your life. So if you're listening to me and you have had this feeling that people just don't support you, people don't get you, I feel like I just don't fit in no matter how hard I try. I don't feel fully accepted for who I am. People don't see me. I don't feel like I get validated. I don't feel like people hear me. Well, let me tell you, this full moon is definitely allowing us to be seen, allowing us to be heard. And so what you're allowing to come through you is so important for your journey, because what you're doing now is planting the seeds for what you will be doing up until this astrological alignment shifts again. And that's going to be October. Now, according to the Mayan calendar, we went into a red magnetic dragon. This is a harmonic frequency, and that frequency is of primal rawness, right? Rebirth. And maybe your emotions do feel raw. Maybe you're finding yourself to be more sensitive to people's perspective of you, to criticism from other people and yourself. Like, that's okay. Being hypersensitive, being hypervigilant, yes, it can be seen as a weakness. But from the philosophy in which I teach, everything that has ever been perceived a weakness in me, I turned it into a strength. And I take my pain and I turn it into purpose. And it is that pain that I have experienced within myself and facing those traumas, going into the dark to bring forth light by discovering the parts of me that were not safe to be seen. And when those parts of me come up, it could be grief, anger, rage, sadness, low self-worth, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, doubt in myself. All of these things are conflictual with self-worth and integrity. And because we're in this Gemini energy, we're feeling the polarities. We're feeling this dualistic yin, yang, black, white, masculine, feminine. I mean, everything is just polarized. And it's like we forgot that it's many, many shades of gray in between. And with that being said, as we are going through these transformations, you may find yourself triggered more so than you would be before. And the goal is to not feel guilty. Whatever you can do to interrupt the line of thought that you're having that's creating these feelings that's coming up for you that are not in alignment with self-worth, that are not in alignment with self-love. Validate yourself. Validate your feelings. You don't have to understand them. You don't have to know where they come from. You don't even have to know why whoever is triggering you is triggering you. You don't have to know. Just give it over to spirit. And like, you know what? I'm triggered because this is a mirror being held up to me and there is a wound that's still raw. And so we're going to be in this energy until October. And I know a lot of people don't talk about the Mayan calendar, but you must remember they were one of the only civilizations who mapped out the prophecies in each age, which is a map for us as far as our spiritual awakening. Okay? So the beautiful card that I pulled for this full moon is Lalita Tripura Sundara. And I adore Lalita Tripura Sundara because she embodies abundance. She embodies enoughness, but without proof. You don't need proof. We drive ourselves crazy trying to find proof. We try to prove that people are narcissists. We try to prove that people are gaslighting us. We try to prove that we are worthy of more than what we are experiencing in life. We try to prove that we have changed. We try to prove, like, that energy of trying to prove, it will simply exhaust you and separate you from source energy. And once you cut yourself off from source energy, this particular full moon will amplify whatever vibration you're choosing to drop your anchor into. So view emotions as bodies of water. And you are the vessel. Okay? You could be a yacht. You could be a canoe. Whatever it is you want to be. Hell, you could be a car that floats. Okay? You are the vehicle, and your emotions is the body of water. Where you drop your anchor determines your journey. Right? And so you can feel the emotion, and you can cruise through the ocean of grief, but you don't have to drop your anchor there and stay there for an extended stay. Right? You can just be like, I'm here right now. I'm going to give love to myself, and then I'm going to do something that is on my self-care list. And if you don't have a self-care list, I'm recommending that you create one. This will get you through some of the intense emotions that we definitely will be feeling. Alright? Now, unless you're still numb, for whatever reason, sometimes we're afraid to feel. Sometimes we become avoidant. You know, our love attachment style can sometimes be avoidant. And so we will avoid feeling our feelings. And we will use many different coping mechanisms and become dependent on things, substances, alcohol, people, places, foods, things, TV shows. I mean, anything can become an addiction to numb. So you want to just be aware of that. Like, am I numbing myself? You know? And is there another way? Is there a way that's better for me? Is there a way for me to deal with this that's going to offer love to myself? Right? So those are the questions. Alright? So let me share with you, Lalita Tripura Sundara. With luminous grace, she plays her ways into our hearts, softening hardness and despair, awakening the remembrance of light, of love, of joy. No matter what you have experienced, your heart shall be cleansed and released from ugliness, sorrow, and pain. Negative karmic legacies will be cleared away. Our divine sister goddess invites you to recognize her golden restorative beauty shining within your heart. Cultivate that which is worthy of such beauty, for this is your essential nature. Gracefully release all else with dignity. The third of the Mahavira wisdom goddesses, Lalita Tripura Sundari, is the Divine Mother manifesting as light, playfulness, and beauty. In the Shakti Tantras or scriptures of the Divine Feminine, there are two schools. One school celebrates Kali as the primordial origin of the universe, and the other worships Lalita as such. Yet, they are but two faces of the one Divine Mother. Lalita doesn't compete with Kali. She is her boon-giving brightness. Lalita's presence in a reading is a reminder to play. Her sadhana or practice asks us to cleanse and heal our minds so that we do not become consumed or overwhelmed by the suffering or ugliness happening in our world today. Now, without denying the dark side of human nature, we can look through the inner eye to see what is happening at a spiritual level. If we look for the inner spiritual truth, we will find divine beauty. That is the courage, kindness, selflessness, generosity, love, and strength that humans develop and express in response to their problems. Lalita is the power to recondition the mind away from agony and into delight. This doesn't require changing the world, but rather seeing it differently. Instead of seeing humanity as victimized, weak, ego-driven, and wounded, we can affirm humanity as a collective of spiritual, brave souls willing to incarnate and grow during a challenging time of spiritual obscuration on earth. There is a divine beauty in such boldness of spirit. Internally, we shift from despair to awe, changing our chemistry along with our consciousness. As that takes place, we begin to vibrate energetically at a higher frequency. Challenges are recognized as means through which blessings can be activated. The mindset of the warrior fighting against darkness can shift into the mindset of the priestess, facilitating the increasing presence of spiritual light upon earth. Same world, same circumstances, but different approach, interpretation, and response, which in turn leads to a different experience and future for all of us. Sometimes we need the darkness, the feistiness of Kali, and the warrior spirit. Yet at other times, the lightness of heart, the delighted mind, and the buoyant spirit are what will open us for the way forward. For life to happen, we need both night and day, winter and summer, and everything in between. Lalita is the reminder to give due honor to the brightness and light, especially if we have been dealing with a lot of darkness. In a reading, Lalita Tripura Sundari is a sign of good things intended for you. The ending of a truly difficult time is near, as a spiritual shift from the dark night of the soul into something of a golden era in your life. It is a promise of release into beauty and grace. Do your work to orient yourself, to shift your inner being to be ready for her. What would it be like to dispense with worry and dwell within a continual infusion of golden grace? This is the way of Lalita. Be open to experiences of rest, pleasure, and beauty, which can elevate your frequency and help you discover new solutions to old issues. Lalita helps the mind break free from poverty consciousness and belief in lack. Inner healing and transformation manifest through her playful energies. We become able to find delight and joy once more. Tripura translates as 3 cities and refers to the triple goddess as a virgin, Bala, as a fertile woman, Sundari, and as a crone, Bhairavi. This is also depicted as the mother maiden and crone, the triple goddess. In a reading, this oracle indicates a change so radical and profound that it is irreversible. A previous chapter of your life is truly closing and will not be reopened. This will be reason for celebration, for the intervention of Lalita in our lives bring only delight, joy, happiness, and fulfillment. Whatever you need to release now shall create the space for what is divinely destined for you to manifest through her grace. You have every reason to feel hopeful. If you have been struggling with poverty consciousness or have lost a sense of joy and gratitude for your life path, Lalita is a portent of heart healing and restoration of grace, light, and dignity in your heart. You shall awaken to your true inner beauty. You shall enjoy a change of pace and a release from intensity. Open your heart and orient your mind towards the golden era. Now, this is an prayer that can be used while resting your hand on your heart to activate this wisdom within you. Lalita Tripura Sundari, golden goddess at play, joyful Jagatambi, loving mother of the world and benevolent queen of the universe, you are all giving, so generous and kind. I open my heart to you and wonder at your unwavering desire that I should simply be happy and free. Your generosity melts all resistance. In your presence, I am as humble as a sage and as happy as a delighted child. You are my divine mother. You love me so much. On every level, I welcome your golden presence into my being, into my life and the world, for the spiritual liberation of all beings. Jama Lalita Devi. Now you can begin to see and sense, just intend on feeling that you are moving deep into the spacious inner temple of your heart. There, a swirling golden light is reaching toward you. The light swirls elegantly, playfully, delightedly in multiple directions. You sense it powerful, intelligent, kind, and healing. The swirling golden light expands so it fills your entire energy field and then encapsulates the space around you. It captures all energetic streams of darkness, whisking them away, transforming them instantly into delights and happiness and freedom. You are peaceful, protected, and blessed. You shine as a beautiful priest or priestess of his or her own golden light. Your luminous heart radiates her golden swirling intelligence in all directions and through all dimensions for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Allow yourself to reconnect with the joy and delight of this. Now you can finish with your hands in prayer and bow your head to the joy and the light of the divine feminine in your deepest heart. You have completed your invocation ritual. So, I did not read that before starting this. I just went ahead and pulled the card and decided to record. And as we can see, it's a lot of alignment. So shift your focus to you, to your heart, to exiting poverty consciousness, resting more. You may feel a lot of energy. It may be difficult to sleep. But you can always rest, meditate, listen to binaurals, crystal sound bowl sessions. This energy is here to illuminate the things that have been holding us back and the things that we have used to hide from ourselves. Okay? Now, you may notice people around you as well having intense emotions. And if you tend to be around people who aren't tapped into this type of information, they don't know what's happening. They are completely clueless as to why they feel the way they feel. You don't want to trauma bond with them. Allow people to have their own spiritual experience, no matter how unspiritual it looks. Because one thing is for sure, no human on this planet knows exactly what every other human should be doing and where it leads to. Alright? So this energy can be very overwhelming. If things have been going well for you, you will find that you're just flowing downhill. If things have been difficult, you may feel like you're climbing a mountain. All of it is still your spiritual journey. It still deserves honor, and it matters. So direct your attention to the unconscious patterns and behaviors that need to come to light. Offer these areas more love as they come up, because they will be impossible to ignore. If you have any feelings of betrayal towards yourself, you may very well feel like others are betraying you externally, because this energy really does show us where we project our trauma, project our pain out onto others and situations. So listen to your intuition. It will be very strong with this full moon in Sagittarius. So you can just notice these feelings coming up. Try not to be hard on yourself. Practice being the observer. And it goes back to the OBB strategy. OBB is learning how to observe your emotions. Because once you do that, a stillness moves inside of your spirit. And self-judgment, self-criticism, being hypersensitive to judgment, all of these things may be amplified during this time. So stepping outside of your normal way of perceiving things, using the PRP strategy, the positive reframe pivots, to just play with it and see, can you come up with a creative way to view something that may be causing you to feel like you're under attack or being victimized. Can you view it as something else? Just play with it and see, what else could it be? A lot of us are great liars, right? Even lying, such a shadow, dark aspect, can be used for something that's beneficial. So why not tell a lie? If you think it's a lie, that's okay, because sometimes we look in the mirror and say, I love you so much unconditionally, and what's looking back at us is a feeling of you lying. You just got through doing something that was very self-deprecating, So sometimes you can fake it till you make it, that's all right. Because ultimately, you are not going to get off your path. You may slow things down, but you're not going to get off the path. Okay? Full moons are times of closure, so we may see doors closing, relationships ending, relationships changing. There will be a lot of restarts, a lot of starting over. Now, for me, instead of breaking up and things like that, when we get like in a long phase of power struggle within our twin flame reunion and get in that rough patch, we choose to do a reset. Same way we would do with our devices, our PCs, our phones. You noticing bugs, you noticing viruses. Okay, it's time to do a reset. It's time to reprogram your subconscious mind individually, right? Give each other space to explore these feelings without having to impress upon each other right or wrong, who's doing this and who's doing that, blame shifting. None of that is beneficial right now. So stay away from that. If you are avoidant, take that shadow aspect and turn it into a superpower and avoid the shit that you know is toxic, that you know is not healthy for you or anybody else. The divine feminine will definitely be using a megaphone right now, speaking to us as the divine feminine is being liberated and being able to be her full sacred self, which includes sometimes being the wild feminine, where you are liberated, being rebellious, the dark feminine, where you are assertive and you speak up, being the maiden, where maybe you want to go out on some dates, maybe you want to take yourself out and just focus on you, being the mother, caring, nurturing, cultivating the home, moving stuff around the house, cleaning stuff up, buying something new. I went and bought some pretty things to put around my room, and some of the incense that we have in our spiritual shop. Oh my goodness. Like, that alone just make you feel different. You feel so different when you change your environment with some really simple things. So we can shift into that energy. The energy of the warrior. Maybe you need that right now. The divine feminine is much more flexible than the masculine. And being able to lean into your feminine aspect allows you to be more flexible, which allows you to ebb and flow with this energy. So as we are discovering our higher truths, we are hearing the volume of the divine feminine within us. We're turning up the volume of the inner voice, our intuition that speaks to us. There will be major shakeups in relationships. There will be shakeups in the workplace. There will be changes, but all is well that ends well. And if you don't know how things are going to end in this life for you, use the law of assumption and assume that it's going to work out. That is going to be more of service to you than catastrophizing how your life may go right now. This is a very critical time for you to get in tune with your inner compass and to be able to trust the spiritual world, though you cannot see it. It is all about the feelings. So validate yourself. It's not up to your partner. It's not up to your family. It's not up to your boss, your coworker, your parents. Nobody. Your siblings. Nobody. Your children. Validate yourself. Because when people are avoidant or cold, detached, mean, rude, gaslighting, narcissistic. The list goes on and on. We have a lot of ways that we can become dysfunctional in our relationships, codependent, counterdependent. I could just keep going. That's a blessing in disguise. Because in that moment, you have no choice but to detach. And once you detach, what you do with that space that you are being offered determines the outcome. So if you are noticing some patterns that are dysfunctional, detach and go within, nurture and love yourself deeper and more than you ever have before, and do not allow any part of you that wants to be seen and heard by you and validated be ignored, so that you aren't betraying yourself. Now, to make this easy for y'all, I've created the OBB challenge, and it's just a 7-day course where you will be challenged to show up differently with yourself. There are journal prompts, questions, information, quizzes, and all of these are connected to the inner power within you. This course is not about doing anything that is going to shift your focus outside of you. So instead of giving a full moon ritual or ceremony to do, join the OBB challenge with me. I'm doing that myself. I started yesterday. Once I completed the course, I couldn't wait to start. I was going to wait, and I was like, I can't wait. It's so good. But I'm so much more deeply connected and fine-tuned to the parts of me that I repressed and that I was ashamed of. And I don't know if you feel a difference in my frequency, but I do. And I'm validating myself right now and celebrating myself. I feel a difference. And I definitely feel more grounded. I feel much more present. And I feel more capable of handling intense emotions, especially those of our children. They're going through this stuff just as we are. And they may have less tools and less time and experience on this planet to understand what they're feeling. So being able to be with them and not re-traumatize them, not get into the drama triangle, that is offering a spiritual legacy to your bloodline that money cannot buy. Abundance comes in many forms. You listening to me right now is abundance. You sharing this with others is abundance. So there are many ways that we can share love with one another. So take advantage of this time. Cultivate your worth. Cultivate your confidence. Notice your limitations. The journal prompts in the course help you to work with your limitations so that you're not feeling trapped and stuck, but you are also able to see your growth and evolution. And it's a lot of distractions. I'm telling you, if you take the time out and invest it in yourself, when we have the new moon coming up, you're going to be much more integrated with the parts of you that were not integrated before. Okay? So we're entering into the summer solstice as well. The sun represents consciousness. You know, it is the soul essence within us. There's so many things being offered to us, and you don't have to get caught up in the negative, drama-filled, warring, conflictual extremes, power struggles, everybody fighting for power. And with the food prices, the gas prices, a lot of us are living in fight or flight. A lot of us are just trying to survive. A lot of us feel uncomfortable when we're having to go to the store and you don't leave with as much food as you used to. You can reframe that situation so that it doesn't lead to more poverty mindsets. And this is what the OBB challenge helps us to do. And at the 7th day of the OBB challenge, you will receive a gift, a free gift, my personal self-worth gangsta gratitude journal. I wanted you to have something to look forward to because I know how difficult it can be to navigate these more shadow aspects of you. But everything in the world has a shadow because everything in this world was created by light. And we are both. To ignore either is to not be whole. And that's not what we desire to do because that's why we incarnated during the age of Aquarius. Thank you for joining me. I'll be looking forward to whoever's going to join me in the OBB challenge. Stay tuned because every opportunity that I get to share some of my heart, my journey, and the powerful transformational tools I discover, I will share them. And check out our spiritual shop. Any ceremony you would like to have, there are numerous things for you to choose from. When I tell you, we are doing this, we doing this, baby. We're on a locomotive of love, headed to self-worthville on the new earth. We are. And no matter where you are, how you feeling, what's happening, I guarantee you, Spirit is going to speak a divine message to you once you have heard this. and you will be guided, and you will feel much more protected and supported. Alright? Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Namaste, Numise. One love. Ashe.
When I'm walking down the street, people are looking at me. What they see is a masterpiece.